Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you're listening to Leading Ladies, a women's talk show that features relatable, intelligent, compassionate, powerful, productive women of the 21st century. And my first guest today works right down the road from the station here, actually, and I'm very excited to welcome Ms. Cathy Leahy.
Hi, thank you, Katie.
Thanks for coming in today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for asking me.
No problem. So we're just going to start talking about what it is you do. Could you just give us like a quick synopsis of your job?
Sure. I'm a dental hygienist, and as you said, I work right here in Warwick for Dr. Owen McShane. And as a hygienist, my primary goal is to help my patients maintain their optimum oral health. Periodontal disease and dental caries are the main cause of tooth loss and tooth pain, and they're both preventable. So my job is to evaluate each mouth and to treat them accordingly. Sometimes it's 6-month cleanings. Sometimes those with periodontal issues might require specific treatments and more frequent visits. But the most important part of my job is educating my patients.
Okay.
I teach each person how to keep their teeth a lifetime. And that can be simply brushing and flossing techniques or recommending over-the-counter aids that are available. It also requires some nutritional counseling, teaching people to realize that their diet contributes to the problems in their mouth.
Right.
Also, I like to educate them on their specific health conditions and medications that affect their mouth, and also to make them aware that their oral health can affect their overall health.
Right, definitely.
Believe it or not. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I do.
Right. It sounds like, it's so much is going on with the mouth that affects so many different aspects of life.
Absolutely.
Right?
People don't realize that.
Right.
Their oral health definitely affects whether it's heart disease, diabetes, things like that people aren't aware of.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, over the last 10 years or so, or even longer, probably the last 20 years, research has identified that correlation.
Right.
So it's important to, relay that to the patient.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Wow, that's interesting. So I just kind of want to, I'm curious as to why dental hygiene.
Well, it's funny. When I was 13 years old, my sister worked in a dental office in the town we grew up in.
Okay.
And they had a high school teenager who would come in and pull charts and file charts and clean up, that kind of thing. And she had a sudden appendectomy, and they were shorthanded. Okay. So she volunteered me, her younger sister.
Oh, wow. How nice of her.
Yes, how nice of her. But it was great for me. So I ended up working the whole summer, and the dentist that we grew up with, he cleaned our teeth. So I'd never seen the hygiene profession.
Oh, okay.
So I was very intrigued, and I would try to assist or just learn more about it. And for 4 years while I was in high school, I worked in that office.
Wow, very
and
nice.
That's what really led me to hygiene.
That's what it was.
So it was great, yeah.
Very cool.
So besides a paper route and babysitting, I've only worked in a dental office all my life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And obviously you like it a lot.
I do. I enjoy it.
Good.
It's different. Every day is a different set of people coming in.
Definitely.
And when you work in the town that you live in, it's,
Right.
it's a lot of social time.
Definitely, yeah. Absolutely, and especially in such a tight-knit community such as ours, you probably know so many of your patients. And Cathy's actually my dental hygienist.
For many years,
Yes,
Katie.
so-
I've seen you grow up.
Yeah, so it's nice when you come in and I sit in the chair, or anyone, and you know about my life. Cathy's asking me, about school, and she knows what's going on, and she remembers everything. And
I make notes, to be honest.
Oh,
I make little notes.
Oh, that's so great. No, that's so cool, though, so that you can keep tabs on everybody.
Exactly.
And when they get in the chair, you can just start that conversation right up.
Right. And sometimes that puts people at ease. So that's
Definitely.
good.
The dentist's office, some people are like, oh, it's fine. And then some people get nervous, such
Absolutely.
as me.
Yes, no.
Going there. And it definitely puts you at ease, for sure.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, because you make people feel comfortable. And that's such a, vulnerable spot of the body.
Absolutely.
And when someone else is in there, it's like, gets a little...
It's almost an intimate relationship,
Definitely. So, I was going to bring that up eventually in the show regardless, but there's definitely a huge social aspect to this job.
Huge social aspect.
It's not just the expertise, you have to know while you're in the office. You have to be personable and
You do. And actually, you have to really read your patients because they vary. Some people want to come in, get the job done, and be out and on their way, which is fine. And other people, they really come in to socialize.
Right.
So that can throw my schedule off just a little.
Right.
And I've gotten very good at understanding conversation with my fingers in their mouth as they speak.
Yes.
But, it just, like we said before, it puts people at ease, whether it's
Definitely.
a child or whether it's an adult.
It for sure
know.
puts me at ease, though.
Yeah, good.
Definitely. Yes, you're very good at the tempo, the question asking and then.
Right. I'll give you a couple minutes. That may be why I run behind sometimes, but I do want to hear what you have to say.
Right. Yeah, it's great. It's great. And, along those lines, the idea of trust and reliability, that comes into play a lot with your job.
Absolutely. Trust is huge in my profession, beginning even with my boss. After all, it's his name on the door.
Right.
And I represent his practice and his name. So I take that very seriously and maintain my professionalism really as if it's my own practice.
Right.
I can be accountable for 12 or 13 patients in a day. So,
Wow.
I need to be on my game. But I've been working for Dr. McShane for 21 years, so I think I proved my point.
I think you've got it down.
And trust is also crucial with my patients.
Right.
I'm grateful that each patient entrusts us to treat their families.
Right.
So, sometimes it takes some time to gain trust
Right.
for people. But you know what? I think because I genuinely care,
Right.
and not only about their mouth, but their families and what's going on, I think that helps,
Absolutely, right.
gain trust.
Exactly. Absolutely. Because people know that, they're in good hands.
Well, I hope so.
They are. So, with this whole idea of, reliability and trust, how important is it to remain consistent, with your job?
It's very important. In a dental office, you're part of a team, first off. So we have our own specific jobs, but we rely on each other for the day to go smoothly.
Right.
And some days are very busy, and it's good to know that someone's going to help you, if
Definitely.
you back up or something. And I'm also one of 3 hygienists in the office.
Okay.
So it's very important for us to be consistent in our treatment, our recommendations, our thinking, because it's not good if a patient says, well, that's not what the other hygienist said.
Right,
So
right,
we
right,
all
right.
have to
You've gotta
be on the same page.
right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely. Do you ever have patients who are a little hesitant
Absolutely.
or nervous?
Yeah. You always have to deal with hesitant patients from
Right.
time to time. And many times it's due to a previous bad experience that they've had.
Definitely, right.
And many are fearful of pain. So you just need to slow things down,
Right.
proceed cautiously, maybe take 2 appointments to complete the treatment,
Okay.
if needed.
Right.
And then a lot of people can be hesitant because they feel a previous dentist took advantage of them, maybe doing work that they didn't feel was necessary.
Okay.
So again, you take the time to explain what needs to be done and why and what
Right.
would happen if you didn't have it done. And, then it's always up to them to decide what they want to do.
Right. It kind of reminds me of, like when your parents are disciplining you and they're not just saying no, they're saying this is why.
Right. Exactly.
It's because it's dangerous,
Right.
It's not just a no, it's not just a here's the tool, I'm ready to go. It's this is why this is good for you.
Right. And
Right.
it's important to not just dictate, but to explain why.
Right.
And really the patient is in control. They can choose what they want to do. And then I think they're more believing that, okay, this is something that really needs to be done.
Right,
But you have to, kind of think about where they came from.
Absolutely.
Their experiences.
And even just the context of the dynamic of the positions, they're on their back,
Oh,
they're looking
very
up, you've got the
vulnerable.
tools. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm sure people get really nervous about that.
They do,
Yeah.
they do. But you know what? Over time, I've had a lot of my patients like you for many, many years.
Right.
So it's the new patients that are a little standoffish, a little leery initially, but usually they come around.
Yeah, definitely. And so you have to deal with patients all across the board, from kids to adults to elderly.
Yes,
and
which I do enjoy.
Right.
I do.
But there's such different ways of attacking each of those
They are.
situations.
The kids nowadays, for the most part, are, excited.
Right.
You always have your prizes for
Yeah,
them.
right.
They get
They
their
get to go
toothbrush,
in the
they get
treasure
steak.
box.
Exactly. They get to go in the
Right.
treasure box. You'll get some that are a little fearful, especially the first time in. I remember somebody, a little kid, and he had his first cavity. So the doctor says, we have to have you come back, you have a cavity. And all of a sudden tears came down his eyes. And I said, what's the matter? And he said, well, do you have to use the drill? So he said, yeah, doctor, we'll use the drill. Well, my cousin told me that the drill has a ripcord, almost like
Oh my gosh.
like a chainsaw. So that was just what the little one was expecting.
Right.
So it's funny. You just can calm those fears because you don't know what they're thinking in their heads.
Right, and you're probably so excited to explain to him, no, there's no ripcord.
No,
Guess
there's
what? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then usually you can talk them through. Sometimes there are some that are, very apprehensive, and we
Right.
do have tears, but that doesn't happen too often.
Right. Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
It is 9:15, so we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere, everyone. I will continue my conversation with Cathy in a little bit. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you've been listening to Leading Ladies right here on WTBQ Radio.
The fastest road course racing in NASCAR is just around the corner at Watkins Glen International in the heart of New York's wine country, August 4th through the 7th. Be there for 3 days of action-packed events. The debut of a new surface at a historic track. The action begins Friday with the Bully Hill 100 K&N Pro Series. Saturday, it's the NASCAR Xfinity Series Zippo 200. It all leads up to Sunday's Cheez-It 355 at the Glen. For tickets, call 866-461-RACE or visit theglen.com.
Where your heart beats for the fun of it, YMCA.
Need a safe, fun, and stimulating program for your school-age child before and after school hours. The YMCA of Middletown provides quality, affordable child care programs in 22 schools throughout Orange County. Professionally trained, caring adult role models are there when you can't be. Register now for fall programs, as most locations fill quickly. Contact the YMCA at 845-344-9622 or visit our website at middletownymca.org to learn about all of our sites. And as always, our Strong Kids campaign provides financial assistance to those who qualify.
KBW Kitchen and Bath Works of Warwick is your one stop, whether building your home, designing your dream kitchen, bath additions, or basements. KBW offers turnkey innovative solutions and designs customized to fit your vision and style. Make your dream a reality with Michelle, Scott, and the entire team. They offer a myriad of design portfolios for both new and renovation projects. Whether your tastes are classic, traditional, or contemporary, KBW will customize your design for your lifestyle and comfort. Come to the showroom and peruse their design catalogs at your leisure. KBW has the edge that sets them shoulders above the competition. And here is what one of their satisfied customers had to say. Kitchen looks great. The project was done when promised, and the KBW team was great to work with. They coordinated all of the demo and installation so that time without the use of the kitchen was minimized. Creative ideas to maximize space utilization and design. Visit gotkitchens.co or call 845-988-5522.
Hi, this is Marina Case of the Red Shutters in Warwick, New York. Tune in every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. for The Style Show, a show about decorating, fashion, and fun on WTBQ Radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Dr. David Leach, the superintendent of the Warwick Valley Central School District and host of Your Schools. Listen every Monday at 12 noon to learn what's happening in your schools right here on WTBQ, Radio worth listening to.
WTBQ. Ain't I got you on the back foot, and you know I got you really good.
Welcome back. This is your Leading Ladies host, Katie Krahulik, speaking right here on WTBQ. And I'm here with local dental hygienist Cathy Leahy. And we were just talking about her work in the community over at Dr. McShane's office. We had been talking about, the different people that Cathy comes into contact with in the chair, and how to face different, sorts of personalities and ages. And now, I'm just curious. Can you kind of talk about the reward your job brought to you?
Well, the unexpected reward was the fact that after 35 years of doing hygiene, I still love my job.
That is very unexpected.
Well, it is, because I remember when I was in school, the burnout rate for dental hygienists, according to statistics, was like 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
And I'm doing it 35 years, and I'm still happy. And I think part of it is the flexibility that hygiene brings.
Okay.
I worked full-time before I had my kids.
Okay.
And then when they were young, I worked part-time. And then I slowly added hours and days as I was ready to. So
That's
it
great.
really was a great profession for me in that respect.
Definitely. And something, we talk about a lot on my show is that ability to work and have kids, and how is that possible? That's the big question. And
it's tough.
And that this field specifically obviously allowed for that flexibility for you, which is great to see for me as a young woman. Can you?
Yes.
Talk
Well,
about?
you know what? I saw that when I was a youngster working in that dental office. When I was,
Right.
I saw that the hygienists, they each had families.
Right.
So they would work a couple of days. And with hygiene, you can be in one office, or you can do 2 days in one office and 2 days in another office.
Right,
So
right.
I saw that it worked, and I knew that I planned a family in the future. So
Right.
I thought, okay, this is going to be a profession that's going to work for me.
Right, and that's fantastic to hear.
A lot of people can't do that. They
It's
can't
true.
work part-time in their jobs.
Exactly, because a lot of jobs or specific positions just won't.
No, they're full-time or
They won't allow
nothing.
it.
Right.
So
Which is tough. Which
Definitely,
is very, very
definitely.
tough.
And I understand that that's out there, but I just feel like, when it comes to justice for women, how can we fill those positions when it's not possible? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just good to hear that for this career you were
Yes.
able to do so, and you never lost touch with the work.
No, I never did. You're right.
There was no breaks.
No, because even when I had my first child, my first son, I went back. I worked I worked a day and a half or a half a day.
Right.
Yeah, so that worked out really well. And my
Definitely.
mother-in-law would babysit my son, so it worked out great.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Right,
it was.
right. Oh, that's great. Great to hear. And you were talking about how you saw that when you were a young woman, just shadowing and starting in the dental office, and now you have young women coming in and shadowing you.
I do.
What is that experience like?
It's great. I enjoy it very much. We usually get a couple of students in a year.
Okay.
Some come in as part of the Warwick High School job shadowing program
Right.
that they have. Some are patients, and some just call the office. So sometimes they'll come in for a day, or sometimes they'll come in for multiple days. But I enjoy hygiene so much that it's a pleasure to share my experiences.
Right, definitely.
And I'm proud to say that one of my most recent shadowers is starting her hygiene studies in September.
Wow.
And then we have one of the young men who had come in, he's starting dental school in August. And then we have 2 young ladies who are applying to dental school right now.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is. It is very cool.
So they're taking a lot away from it then.
They are.
That's
They
wonderful.
are. It's
That's
important
great.
to get in and to see what it's about and to see if it's for you.
Right, definitely.
Or get a feel if it's for you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what is it like seeing them passionate, seeing them like it?
It's exciting.
Right.
It kind of takes me back to when I was a teenager,
Right,
considering
definitely.
it for myself.
Definitely.
So, I just tell them it's hard work, you persevere, and, when it's done, you have a great rewarding job.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I'm sure they see that.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they do. The office is a very relaxed, very chatty office, maybe to a
It
fault at
is.
times.
It
But
is.
there's a lot of laughter, and it's very low key. That's not the case with all dental offices.
Right.
But
It's a
that's-
great model for young people to know about, to going into the field, to take that with them when they start working.
Right. That,
Because-
a relaxed atmosphere will put your patients at ease.
And it will help, it'll help you function better and,
Yes,
and
yes.
perform better.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So, especially with the young women when they come in, I'm sure you tell them a lot of things, informative. But, do you ever kind of encourage them, as young women, with some advice, words of wisdom, what kind of things do you or would you say to these young women?
Well, I would just make sure that they're confident about themselves.
Right.
That if they're uncomfortable, if there's questions, sometimes you're young and people can put you in uncomfortable positions. I mean, that
Definitely.
happens everywhere.
Right.
So just to, step back and, if it doesn't feel right, maybe it's not right.
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
to walk away.
Right.
But other than that, it's just hard work, and it's really enjoyable. I mean,
Right.
as long as you enjoy socializing with patients and
Right.
people,
Right.
it's a good profession.
Do you feel that, as a woman yourself, there were any pros or cons to the job because of your gender? Did you think maybe it made things easier to be more social or be more, maybe maternal in the job?
Well,
or
sometimes, because, it's funny, after Dr. McShane would come in and do an interview, or not an interview, but he would come in and do an exam.
Right.
And he would walk out and he might recommend a thing or two. they always turn to you and they'll say, well, what do you think? Do you
Right,
think this is what
right.
I should do? So I think they do feel a little bit, not that they don't feel confident in him, they certainly
Right,
do.
of course.
But there's just that little bond that
Right.
they just want a reassurance from
Definitely,
you. So I think that might be a female thing.
Right, right. I understand that for sure. And on the subject of female, of course, Cathy does some other things outside the office, and one of them is called the PMS Club.
Oh.
And I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Could you describe it? Talk
Yes.
about it. What is it? The PMS Club. What does that stand for?
It's an attention-grabbing name.
Yeah,
isn't
it is, right?
The PMS Club stands for the Partying Mother Society, and it was started by my girlfriend Barbara Sullivan.
Okay.
And she started it almost 25 years ago, and it started with a simple letter to a bunch of girlfriends with an offer to meet for dinner and drinks. And at that dinner, her concept was cemented, and it took off from there. Dinners were once a month, I think it was the second Thursday of the month.
Okay.
And as a member, you were able to bring a guest to the next dinner. So I was fortunate to come as the guest to dinner number 2, and I was
Nice.
hooked. Yeah.
Nice.
And we had at least 75 women come through the PMS Club.
Wow.
Yeah, over the years. Now this, Katie, was before email. So the way there was a world
was a
before.
time?
Yes. So what we would do is we would bring 9 self-addressed stamped envelopes to the first
Okay.
dinner of the year, and then we would all take turns planning the next dinner. And you would contact the restaurant. We tried to keep it local, serve our
Okay.
community, and you'd compose your letter. You tell them where and how much and what the theme was. We always had themes.
Oh,
Hat
fun.
Day or joke night or Hawaiian
How
night.
cute.
Italian. Yeah, fun.
What a
Just
blast.
yes. And then if you had your letters in there or your envelopes in there, you got your invitation in the mail.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great. And then once a year, we would do an event that would include our husbands.
Okay.
So we had prom night. We
Oh,
had
how
a glitz and glamour.
nice.
We had a hoedown at Mount Peter one year.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, it
That's
was fun.
So fun.
And then a favorite of mine, once a year, we would have a mother-daughter and awards night. And when Barbara first posed that to me, she said, what do you think about mother-daughter night? I'm like, well, that's nice, but I only have sons. And she said, no, you're the daughter. You bring your mother.
Oh, there
I'm
you
like,
go.
oh, and my mother loved those
Oh,
dinners. Oh, she did.
nice.
She loved the fun, camaraderie. And my mom had always impressed upon myself and my 2 sisters the importance of girlfriends.
Right.
And, girlfriends were very important. And she and her girlfriends were doing weekends away before girls'
Oh,
weekends were even
nice.
popular.
Right.
So, and then as far as the awards night, I always would win the perfect attendance award. So I can tell
Nice.
you how much I enjoyed this group.
Right, definitely,
know?
definitely. It just sounds like a giant support system for women.
That's exactly what it is. The mission was very simple. It was an evening to escape the busyness of husbands and children for just a few hours.
Right.
To have someone cook for you while you laughed and conversed with friends who totally related to your life.
Right, absolutely.
So it was no rules, no membership,
Right.
no pressure. It was just simply, moms who needed a night out with their girlfriends.
Right.
That's
and,
all.
And how important was that for you and so many of these other women to go and just experience and be on the same page with and relate to?
I didn't realize how important that club was to me initially. I didn't. I knew it meant I was going out to dinner once a month and I was going to have a fun night. That much I knew. But the true sisterhood and support and bond, that became more evident as the years went on. Initially, most of us were working part-time as we were raising the kids.
Right.
But as time went on, some started new careers and ventures, and we were all there to support and network for them.
Right.
So it was really very, very important.
Right. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
And when it comes to women today, I think one of the bigger problems is that lack of support we have for each other.
True.
Women can be so tough on each other. And when you bring them all together like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's so good because you have 75 women who are all going to have each other's back no matter what.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
we need each other's support,
And a lot of times, some of the people were just moving into the area.
Right.
And, it's hard to meet people sometimes.
Definitely.
I mean, you'll meet people at the schools when your children go to school, but this was a great way for just, the newcomers into town to get
Definitely.
to feel comfortable.
Definitely. And you guys help each other out and give each other,
Always.
advice and
Always.
And,
People would go through tough times in life, whether
Right.
it was divorce or illnesses or things like that. And you had a group that was
Right.
there for you.
Right, definitely.
It was great.
And you were all kind of going through the same thing when it comes to families and children. And
Absolutely.
You were all playing the same role, and you can come and support each other in those roles.
Right.
And
right.
and give each other what you need, to continue them and
Yes, it was a great support system, and
Right.
that's what's needed, especially when you're trying to juggle motherhood and career.
Right, absolutely.
You know?
Exactly, because a lot of women, I think, can feel pretty alone in those, situations.
Right, not realize we're all in the same boat.
Exactly.
We're all going through the same thing.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful, and I love hearing about that. Why do you think this club is, just kind of on a final note here, important for women today, especially?
Well, an interesting side note to the PMS Club was that about 2 years ago, we were invited to be on the Meredith Vieira show.
Wow.
Yes.
How cool.
And Barbara had always joked that she wanted Oprah to be the one to
my
introduce
gosh,
us to the
right,
TV world.
right.
But Meredith had heard about the PMS Club, and she wanted to know more. And she's all about women empowering and supporting each other.
Right.
So 15 of us were on stage with her, and we initiated her into the PMS Club. But what was cool is
wow.
she put on her website how others could start their own PMS Club.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was well received, and there was a lot of great comments from women that I think the PMS Club was taken now to other cities.
To a new
and
level.
states. Yeah.
There's PMS clubs
Should
all over
franchise
now.
it.
Yeah, right? We should get T-shirts. That's fantastic. I love hearing that as well, especially, along the lines of what I said before. It's important for women to support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that's, that's happening, that's spreading now. So thank you for that. And thank you, Barbara, for starting
Yes,
that.
thank you,
And,
Barbara.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. Well, anyway, that's it for the half hour
Okay,
today.
thank
But
you.
thank you so much, Cathy, for coming in today.
Oh,
It
it's
was
my
a pleasure
pleasure.
speaking with you. I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you. And same to you.
Congrats on everything you've accomplished so far.
Thank you, Katie.
We will be right back. Stay tuned, listeners, because Michelle Ryder is calling in after this commercial break. She's another very impressive leading lady. So don't go anywhere. This has been Katie Krahulik, and you're listening to Leading Ladies here on WTBQ Radio.
When my construction company has a tight deadline, I need a contract bond fast. That's why I work with Selective. With their Contractor Express program, I can pre-qualify for bonds for many of my smaller jobs in just a few minutes.
Selective. Response is everything. For quick and easy bond solutions, visit selective.com.
Small contract bonds and no hassle. That works for me.
This is Garrett Derlin from Sealy & Derlin Insurance. For quick and affordable contract bond needs, contact us at 845-986-1177.
Insuring your business is serious stuff. You don't need gimmicks or cutesy mascots or punchlines. You certainly don't want red tape. You just want the right coverage at the right price. We're as serious about insuring your business as you are about running it. Selective. Response is everything.
This is Garrett Derlin from Sealy & Derlin Insurance. To create your custom business insurance solution, contact us at 845-986-1177.
Sussex County Farm and Horse Show, fun for the entire family, at the New Jersey State Fair, August 5th through 13th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and August 14th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Farm animals, a horse show, barrels and broncos, monster truck rides, a tractor parade, demo derby, model and quarter horse shows, carnival, fireworks, and free entertainment. Fun for everyone. The fairground in Augusta, New Jersey. For more information and tickets, visit njstatefair.org.
Have a problem with your computer? Need an upgrade or a boost to your computer speed? The Computer Guy offers sales, service, and repair at competitive rates for your business or home. The Computer Guy builds servers and workstations, sets up secure wireless connections, transfers data, including system installation, remote access, and backup of your daily files. Trust the Computer Guy by calling 845-988-0708 or visit them at 14 West Street in Warwick.
Hi, this is Mary Ulrich with Cornell Cooperative Extension in Orange County, inviting you to join me and your Orange County farmers on Farm Talk every Wednesday at 12 noon, where you will learn everything agriculture on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
Hey polka fans, it's Nat the Cat inviting you to join me for an hour of polka fun each and every Sunday morning. For the very best in polkas, waltzes, and obetics, join us at 10 a.m. for the Natalie Gabala Polka Fun Show Sundays, and it's all here on TBQ.
WTBQ. I got you on the back foot, and you know I got you really good.
We are back. Hello and welcome to those who just tuned in. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you're listening to Leading Ladies, a women's talk show that features relatable, intelligent, compassionate, powerful, productive women of the 21st century. Today's second guest is on the line right now, and I'd just like to welcome Michelle Ryder to the show. Thanks so much for calling in today, Michelle.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So we're just going to start. Can you please share your title and the work you do with our listeners?
Sure. My name is Michelle Ryder. I'm an attorney. I'm a senior partner in my law firm, and we have offices in Newburgh and Fishkill, and I manage our corporate practice in our office.
Okay, fantastic. And what sort of legal matters do you deal with in your line of work?
So I'm a business commercial lawyer. I do not go to court. I typically handle transactional business, which is business. I buy and sell businesses with my clients. I do partnership agreements, shareholders agreements, contracts of all sorts, and a lot of just counseling and helping them with navigating their legal issues outside of the courtroom.
Right. Okay, very nice. Something I ask a lot of my guests is I like talking about, where they started. As a young person, I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing, and that's just, something I like to ask. So what kind of motivated you to go into law when you were first starting?
Okay, so when I went to college initially, I was not thinking about the law.
Okay.
I went for accounting and business.
Okay.
And I had a philosophy minor and an accounting major. And then when I graduated from undergraduate, I was an accountant for 4 years, a CPA, public accountant. And then while I was working, I decided I wanted to be more involved in the transactional side of my client's business. I didn't want to just account for the transactions when they were over. I wanted to be at the negotiating table.
Okay. And, what led you to that decision? What about it was appealing to you?
I think I just wanted to be more involved in the business side. I was a CPA and a lawyer are consultants.
Right.
And I wanted to be more actively involved with my clients when they were actually doing the transactions and conducting their business.
Right, definitely. It sounds like there's more reward there.
It's more exciting.
Right, definitely.
A little more challenging, but more exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, when you first started getting into that, field, what were there things that you were more nervous about when you started this career? What were some of those things, and how did you overcome those fears?
I think when I was in high school and even in undergrad, I was kind of introverted, and I never was one to really raise my hand a lot. And I was a good student, and I studied hard and always did well, but I wasn't the one in the front of the class raising my hand with an opinion.
Right.
So I was always kind of nervous that I didn't have what it took to be that person and be that extroverted.
Really?
And then,
right.
As I went through, it's probably by the end of undergrad or even when I was in law school, I got more confidence and realized that my opinion was worthwhile and I had a lot to say. So
absolutely.
My children today don't believe that I was ever quiet and introverted.
That's great.
But I was back in the day.
Well, that's something that a lot of people I think can relate to and can take away from, people will come to me and say, "Oh, I'm a shy person," and I say to them, "You're not shy. You're young girls. You're not shy.
Yeah.
You haven't blossomed yet. You still have to work on your confidence and figuring out who you are." And I think it's not necessarily a character trait. It's something
everybody has to do it their own way. I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's very, very quiet.
Right.
Not shy, not afraid, but just very quiet. And
right.
I think people just need to do what they feel, especially women. They don't need to feel like they have to fit into a certain mold. You get there in your own way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Confidence is key.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And talking about women and work, did you ever feel like being a woman in this line of work might have impacted your ability to find success in the field at all?
I never thought that when I was young.
Okay. Well,
I
that's good
really
to hear.
always thought I could do whatever I wanted, and I didn't feel restricted from entering any particular field. I worked in a variety of law firms and also businesses, and one was in the steel industry, and I was usually the only woman in the room for many, many years. I never really felt different or treated differently. I think as I get older, I'm seeing more that there are still differences in many ways.
Right.
And sometimes women are not treated the same, but I think the important thing to note is that that's not right.
Of course.
And you can't, as a woman, own that and believe that that's accurate.
Right.
You just have to keep plugging along and doing it your own way because it is, I think it has changed over generations, but there's still a little ways to go.
Right, absolutely. And, when in your line of work, do are you seeing other female lawyers, or other women kind of doing things along the line of what you're doing?
Well, in my office, yes. I mean, we have several women corporate attorneys in my office. In my field, it's still, at least in the Hudson Valley, tends to be more litigators are men.
Right.
And the few corporate lawyers of us who are out here tend to be more, the percentage of women is higher.
Right.
And I don't know exactly why that is. We kind of talk about it once in a while. I think it's a little bit of a different skill set. I think in the corporate law area, it's very, very detail-oriented.
Absolutely.
And I find that more women are attracted to that kind of work.
Right.
It's not universal. I certainly have, some men who work with me, and they're very detail-oriented, and there are lots of great women litigators. But I think percentage-wise, what I've seen in my practice is that more corporate women lawyers and more litigation men lawyers just kind of migrated that way.
Right. Do you think that, of course, male and female tendencies will have a lot to do with, career paths, but do you think that confidence comes into play when it comes to finding or choosing a career for women? Maybe someone won't want to go into litigation because...
I don't know if it's that. I think sometimes the types of things that come out of having a litigation practice, and there's more of a winning feeling,
right?
Because there's an outcome, and somebody wins and somebody loses,
right.
And I think that men are more attracted to that outcome oriented task, and women measure success in different ways. That's my take on it.
Okay.
But again, it's not universal. We have a couple women in my office who are really good cutthroat litigators who love to win. But they have said to me, "I love to win."
Right.
And I think they're driven to that area because that's how they're wired.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, actually. And kind of winding back to what the work you do, I'm curious about the women, that are your, how do I put this? Your customers, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
My
find
clients,
your
yep.
clients? There you go. Do you find that they might be impacted by their gender in the legal world? Are there any specific issues that they might have, as a woman, that they are burdened by, or do you ever find that they struggle with certain things because they're female?
You mean being faced with certain legal issues
Yes.
that men are not? Not sort of the classic things that you think about with discrimination and those matters, which I don't handle personally.
Right.
But the laws have changed, and even the way that they're being applied. I mean, I think more and more discrimination cases coming out in all kinds of different ways now. It used to be that it was, to protect minorities, including women, and you can't discriminate on the basis of gender. That's for sure.
Right, definitely.
So, I think women, the equal pay issue is very hot right now. The evidence is showing that women are still not paid equally.
Right, of course.
In certain sectors with men. I have not personally experienced that in my own career.
Well, that's good.
It's certainly out there, and it's getting a lot of vocal traction now.
Right, definitely.
Even in the political campaigns, I think Donald Trump's daughter mentioned it in her speech the other night. So
right, it's absolutely out there. Just talking about politics. Just a question I'm curious as to what you think of is having a female candidate running for president and the potential to have a female president. I mean, my show is Leading Ladies, so that's kind of the moral of what I'm talking about. What do you think that will do for women when it comes to confidence and faith in their ability to be leaders?
I think we're overdue,
Right.
to have a woman president. I think we're overdue to have women in a lot of top roles.
Yes, definitely.
The percentages who run big corporations are still pretty low, but I'm not an affirmative action person, so I think people should get positions on their merits. But that being said, I think there are plenty of women who have the merit to get those positions. So I'm hoping in my lifetime we see more.
Definitely.
Because I think the perspective is different. I'm the only woman partner in my office. I have 6 male partners.
Okay.
And they're all very open. We are all very equal. I've never felt different than any of them. And they all receive me the same way they receive each other. We all have different personalities and different perspectives. but some of my male partners have said to me, we like having a female partner because you really do look at things differently, and
Right.
you really bring a different perspective
A
to,
different spin,
you know,
right.
personnel issues, human resources issues, and everything.
Right,
So,
definitely.
and I think that's the same for all humans, but I think we do ourselves a disservice if there isn't a woman also sitting at the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very valuable perspectives and takes on things, for sure. We're going to take a quick commercial break because it's 15 minutes into the half hour here. After the break, we'll be right back to continue our chat with Michelle. This is Katie Krahulik, and you're listening to Leading Ladies here on WTBQ Radio.
Dental Arts of Orange County is the perfect blend of a spa with high-tech dentistry, all in one classic and stylish office right on Main Street in the Village of Florida. Choose Dental Arts of Orange County whether you are in need of regular dentistry, cosmetic dental options such as Invisalign to enhance your smile and your self-confidence, or you just want to turn back the hands or the face of time with cosmetic treatments such as Botox and Juvederm. Call now for a complimentary consultation at 651-4647. With over 26 years of experience and ongoing advanced training and technology, Dr. Batafalvi is the only dentist for you and your entire family for all your needs. The Spa and Dental Arts of Orange County is the place everyone is talking about for state-of-the-art advancements in both dentistry and cosmetic treatments. Call now for a complimentary consultation at 845-651-4647 and visit their offices at 14 North Main Street in the Village of Florida.
State Farm in the Clock Tower on Main Street in Warwick. One stop for all your business and personal insurance and financial services, life, home, auto, disability, or business insurance, as well as banking and retirement planning. Call 986-7100 or come in and meet the team.
When I was young, I had a one-plank treehouse 30 feet up a tree in our backyard. Today, there are people building elaborate tree houses with bathrooms, and there's even a TV show about it. Hi, this is Keith Millspaugh of Millspaugh Furniture of Walden, Warwick, and Poughkeepsie. And recently, we furnished a tree house at Angry Orchards in Walden for a TV show, and what a difference in quality between my old tree house and this one. Right now, we're having our annual summer floor sample and special order sale, where you'll be able to replace your one-plank treehouse type furniture with Millspaugh's non-disposable furniture and mattresses that will give you the look and coziness of these newfangled tree houses. You deserve beautiful rooms and more comfort in your life, so come see our floor sample selection and savings story for yourself. Let our furniture counselors help you make your best buying decision in creating the rooms of your dreams while taking advantage of these once-a-year sale prices. That's Millspaugh Furniture, offering non-disposable furniture and mattresses since 1858.
That jazz. This is Frank Lowell. Tune in every Sunday morning at 9 and Sunday night at 11 for And All That Jazz on WTBQ. You'll hear music of every style. It's the most eclectic show on radio. That jazz.
Hey, it's your turn to speak up. I'm Zach Kruk, the host of Speak Up, where you voice your opinion on issues affecting us in our nation and in our community. Speak up and call in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WTBQ. Radio worth listening to.
WTBQ. And I got you on the back foot, and you know I got you really good.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Katie Krahulik, hosting Leading Ladies here on WTBQ. And I have Michelle Ryder on the line. We had just been talking about, Michelle's involvement in her work, in her community, and, being a woman in the field. And something that's clear to me is that, Michelle, your gender has played no role in, hindering you from achieving success and getting to where you want to be. So that's really great to see.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. And of course, clearly it was not a problem for you to achieve success because you were even a recipient for Orange County's Women of Achievement, which is a tremendous honor. Can you talk about being a woman held of such high recognition in your community?
Yes, I think I received that award 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Right. It was certainly very flattering to be nominated and selected, and it's been a very interesting experience because it brings a lot of women together. It's not just, you go and have an award ceremony and that's it, and you move on. It's a group of women in Orange County who stay connected in a variety of ways, some more than others. But there's certainly, it's been interesting to meet a lot of other women in Orange County who are leading in their own field,
Right,
many of which are very different than my field, and I would not come across them in my daily life or my law practice. So
Right.
it's kind of a neat opportunity to bring a lot of interesting leadership-oriented women together. So I think it was
Absolutely.
great. It's a great program.
Definitely. And, something I was talking about with the previous guest was that idea of support for women. It's so, so important, especially today. I think some of women's biggest critics are other women. And it's just incredibly important to support each other. So that's great to hear, And something that I've come to realize, just doing this show is that women are incredible, just absolutely incredible. And I'm sure that's something that you're finding, when you run into these other women.
Oh, yes. I think, women are tough critics on each other. I think that I'm hoping that that's abating a little bit because
Me too.
certainly over the last 10 or 20 years, I think a lot of women have chosen to say, I'm going to support other women, not necessarily, pushing them ahead for promotions or anything like that, but just to sort of have a dialogue about our own struggles and then the things that we're challenged with. A lot of women are wearing many, many hats.
Exactly.
Myself included, and I think women relate very well verbally, to talking things through and sharing their experiences with others. And I don't think women do as well when they just try to, bow their head down and muscle through and go it alone. So I think it's very, very valuable for women to develop a support network. And not just a women's support network, but just, mentors. I'm a big fan of mentoring.
Absolutely.
Whether they're women mentors, male mentors, or vice versa. It's very, very valuable to anybody, whether it's a career choice, an education choice, or just, sort of making big decisions in life. It's good to get feedback.
Absolutely. That's something I agree with 100%. I mean, that's the reason I'm doing this show. One thing that I think is extremely important to the effort is role models. And, that's why I like having women come on and just to show other young women and other people, that, it's possible. It's possible to do these things, whether it's an engineer, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a doctor, anything you want. And, I'm sure this idea of mentorship and being a role model is something that you know very well, as you are the co-founder and board chair of Girls on the Run, right? Can
Yes.
you talk about that a little bit, which is great,
Sure.
a great organization?
Sure. So Girls on the Run is actually a national organization. It was started in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I, for several years, was doing a little running club, I'll call it, at one of my children's elementary schools in Newburgh, and we called it Fit Girls, and we used to run the track, and we would do a book group with it. It was kind of a girl power reading materials, and then we'd have a 5K at the end.
Very cool.
So it was a little thing. It was maybe 15 girls. I did it with another teacher in the school, and that went for 2 or 3 years. And then my ex-husband pointed out to me an article about Girls on the Run in one of his running magazines, and he said, this is really what you guys should be doing to take this to another level.
Right.
And Girls on the Run is a national organization. I contacted them, and they put me in touch with several other women in Orange County who had also made inquiries.
Okay.
The main one being a woman named Kim Quimby, who is now our executive director for our local council.
Okay.
So she and I and one other woman went to Charlotte, started a chapter, got the training, and brought it back to the Hudson Valley. In 2012, we started with 2 teams. I coached one of the first teams of middle school girls in Newburgh, and we had a Cornwall team too. So we had 20 girls. And now this spring, 3.5 years later, we had over 800 girls in the program.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
So it's all, other than we have, I think, 1 full-time and 2 part-time people. Kim, who started it with me, has left her day job, and this has become her mission. Thank goodness.
Wow.
So I help, with some board things, and I do some fundraising. I've coached at times.
Right.
I try to spread the word about the program because it's a fabulous program.
Definitely.
And all of the coaches are trained volunteers.
Okay.
So
wow.
we have hundreds of volunteers, and they're running these teams and training these girls and bringing them to the races, and they're doing it on a 100% volunteer basis.
Right.
And the constant feedback we get from the women's coaches is that they think they're getting as much, if not more, out of it than the girls.
Oh, wow, I'm sure.
It's a self-esteem building program.
Right.
So it's not about elite running. Anybody can do it. Some of the girls walk, some of the girls run. It's a combination. It's a fun run. It's not timed. But it's fitness oriented with self-esteem building academic lessons built into the training program.
Right, that's fantastic.
Anti-gossiping, anti-bullying, self-esteem building exercises, choosing the right friends, being the right kind of friend. How do you treat the new kid? Community mindedness, all the things that are important and that we think about.
So important.
Everybody's so busy and they're not getting this kind of lesson really anywhere else.
It's crucial.
So,
I mean, that is wonderful. Something that young women really, really need, and I love hearing about that.
These girls are grades 3 through 8.
Okay, those are prime years of development and confidence. Building. Really, it's all happening right there. So, that's so important. And what reward does the club bring to you personally?
So I think for me, I do a lot of other volunteerism too, but this one to me is very personal and grassroots, where you really are working with humans and people, where you're delivering, you're sort of delivering the service right directly to them, and you can see the outcome for the girls. Especially when I was doing the coaching, and the coaching has become kind of tough for me with my work schedule, but that's the most fulfilling. You're working with these girls for 10 or 12 weeks and finishing with their race, and they're so elated, and there's such a feeling of personal accomplishment for them that you can see it taking hold, and it's really transforming what they think they're capable of doing.
Right. And,
very, very rewarding.
I'm sure that, transfers over into, confidence in other realms as well, not just running, but they suddenly feel like they can do other things as well, and they're reaching for other goals and et cetera.
And that's even in our curriculum, where we say, listen, we're not training you to be elite runners. We're training you to find something that you feel passionate about, and know that you can do it and you can accomplish it, and have that confidence. It doesn't have to be running. It can be, knitting. I don't care what it is. It can be anything.
Right. Of course.
So some of the girls do continue with running because they love it. Some of them don't love it, but they definitely come away from the program with increased confidence, all of them.
Right, absolutely. We're coming to the end of the hour here, but just on a final note, I'm just curious, was this something that you felt there was a need for? Why did you start getting so involved, and why do you think that this club is incredibly important today, especially for young women?
I think there are a lot of negative messages for young women in the world right now.
Definitely,
and it's dismaying to see girls having less confidence than they did in some cases than in the past. So I think anything that women can do to help promote and increase self-confidence and healthy choices is kind of up my alley. So that's what attracted me to it.
Right, absolutely. And, if you had to say something to young women today, what bit of advice would you say to them?
Oh, I'm not prepared for a one-liner.
No, it could be a two-liner, whatever you need.
I think to me it's just important to be authentic and true to yourself. Don't try to be something that somebody else thinks you should be. Make your own choices.
Right, absolutely. And that's something that you encourage among, your runners with Girls on the Run?
Oh, yes. Yes, and my daughter.
Well, that's wonderful. Wonderful. And, I'm sure your daughter will be off to great things as well, follow in your footsteps. These are things I'm sure you preach to her fairly often.
Well, to the extent children let their mothers preach to them, yeah.
Right. Of course. And how old is she?
She's 15.
Well, I wish her all the best, and I wish you all the best as well, Michelle. We are coming to the end of the hour here.
Okay.
So it's pretty much time to wrap it up, but I just want to thank you so much, Michelle, for donating your time to speak with me today, and I commend you on everything. I think Girls on the Run is fantastic. I love hearing about that. That's what I'm all about. I think we both have the same mission. That's what this show is for, and just encouraging young women to be confident and to do whatever they want. So we're on in the same boat, on the same team here, so I love it.
That's great. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Yes, thank you for coming in. I'm sure you will continue to do great things and be a wonderful role model for young women. But tune again next week, everybody, next Saturday morning to hear some more incredible women share their stories. It's been a great show. I'm Katie Krahulik, and you've been listening to Leading Ladies right here on WTBQ.